Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2024 Chevy Trax, we're going to be showing you how to install the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver. Before we do that though, let's just take a minute, we'll check this out and make sure it's going to work for you. So it seems like what a lot of people are looking to do when it comes to putting a hitch on the Trax is to get one to allow them to use an accessory. It seems like a lot of people are trying to use a bike rack, and that's exactly what our neighbor is doing here today. So having this back here will allow you to get that done, or even pull a small trailer around if you want to. With this hitch, the receiver tube opening does come out a little ways, which I think is a good thing on this vehicle. And I say that because it's going to give you a lot of bumper clearance. So you really shouldn't have any issues, with those folding accessories, hitting the back of your vehicle when you fold them upright. With that said too, a lot of people wonder if this hitch will work with certain submodels. And from my understanding, this will work across the board. We have an RS model here today, went up without any issues. It'll fit the Active, the LT, and everything in between. The hitch is going to have a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, which is a good thing. That's a really common size, and so a lot of stuff will work with it. It is going to use the standard 5/8 pin and clip. Keep in mind, one doesn't come with the hitch. If you need one, not a big deal. You can always grab it here at eTrailer. A lot of times too, if you end up buying a new accessory, they'll come with one. So something to look out for there. And the safety chain openings are going to be a loop style and give us enough room to use just about any size hook that our trailer might have on it. As far as the weight capacities go, it's going to have a 200-pound maximum gross tongue weight rating, which is the amount of weight pushing down on the hitch. So that's good for those 1 and 2, maybe even 3 or 4 bike racks, just kind of depending on how heavy everything is. And as far as the maximum gross trailer weight rating, that's going to be 2,000 pounds, which is the amount of weight pulling on the hitch. So that'll be the weight of your trailer plus anything you might have in or on it. I do always like to recommend, it's always a good idea to check your Trax's owner's manual. That way you can look in there and make sure your vehicle can handle that amount of weight safely. We'll grab a couple measurements now, and these will help us figure out what type of accessories will work best. If you go from the ground to the top inside edge of the receiver tube opening, taking into account the lift that we're parked on here, that'll be about 13 inches, which is decent. If you can get an accessory that has a rise in the shank, that'd probably be more ideal, buy a little more ground clearance, but if you already have one that has a straight shank, you'll probably be in good shape, be able to use it. From the center of the hitch pin hole to the edge of the rear bumper, that's only going to be about 3 inches. And we mentioned this earlier, but if need be, you can use that measurement to find out exactly if any of those folding accessories can be stored upright without hitting the back of your Trax. Other than that though, can't really ask for too much more out of the hitch. It's going to look decent and get the job done. As far as the installation goes, really straightforward. You more or less put the hardware in the frame and bolt the hitch up. So really not a whole lot to it. With that in mind though, if this is something you don't have time to mess with or don't feel like doing it, I completely get it. You can always use our dealer locator network to hopefully get you going in the right direction as far as finding a shop that can do it for you. But if you're doing it yourself, feel free to hang around. We'll go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be working underneath the back of our Trax, and we're going to focus on each one of our frame rails on each side here. Since our trailer hitch is going to be bolted to the side of our frame rail by these 2 attachment points here, I don't want this bead of sealer to interfere with it being able to go up flat. And so I'm just going to take a scraper and remove a little bit of that sealer. And from this point on, whatever we do to one side of our vehicle, we're also going to do to the other side, because it'll be set up the same way. I got that material removed, and this is how it turned out. You don't need to get carried away scraping all of it. I just did that first 1/4 inch above our holes probably. And with that said, we can get the hardware in the frame now. So we'll start with that attachment point there towards the very back. You want to take one of your pull wires, take the coiled end of it, put it in there, and then push it towards the front of our car. And then on the bottom of the frame, you're going to have this larger hole here. That's where we want the fish wire to come out through. So sometimes it'll come right out. Other times you have to kind of get your finger through there and grab it to help guide it out. Once you have the coiled end, you can take a spacer block, put that on, and a carriage bolt will thread onto it. You'll then feed the hardware up into the frame, pull it out, and you'll feel it kind of catch and line up and everything. And once you feel that, you want to push it right back into the frame, just a little bit. That way, when we put our hitch up, it's not going to interfere with it. And then we'll do the same exact thing for this attachment point here. If you can grab someone to help you with this part, definitely makes it much more manageable. But you're going to take your hitch and put the pull wires through the holes in the hitch from the inside out, and then lift it up into place here. And you'll have to kind of work the pull wires as you lift it up. Once you get it around the frame, you can pull your carriage bolts through. Then the weight of the hitch, should keep itself up. And you'll remove a pull wire. Take a flange nut and get it started hand tight. We'll do the same thing for our other bolt here. With all the hardware in place and hand tight, we can come back with a 17mm socket and snug it all down. Now we need to make sure and come back with a torque wrench and tighten down all the hardware to the amount specified in the instructions. And with that done, that's really all there is to it when it comes to getting the hitch installed. So with that said, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the CURT Trailer Hitch Receiver on our 2024 Chevrolet Trax.